Senator Tommy Tuberville was enthusiastic about the plan, saying, and this is a direct quote, "I wouldn't be against them taking it from a pentagon to a trigon, cut a couple sides off of it. Ken, I'll take things Osama bin Laden said in August 2001 for 800, please." Welcome to Love It or Leave It live from Dynasty Typewriter. All right, so that's where we're at. Let's get into it. What a week. Just when you thought things couldn't get any better, Elon Musk stopped by CPAC today. That's the conservative conference and simultaneous closeted gay orgy, where he gestured wildly with a chainsaw on stage.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
Yeah, it's really giving third act of A Star Is Born vibes. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Everybody keeping up with their gratitude journals? Keeping those New Year's resolutions? Musk had a number of important messages for the attendees.
Yeah, we're fighting the Matrix big time here.
Yeah.
But it's got to be done.
Sounds like somebody took the red pill, and then like 100 other pills. Here's Musk ruminating on his favorite topic.
I am become meme. Yeah, pretty much. I'm living the meme. It's like there's living the dream and there's living the meme, and it's pretty much what's happening, you know.
Ah, yes, I am become meme from the part of the Bhagavad Gita about me specifically killing myself. For those listening at home, Musk is wearing sunglasses indoors during the day. That's the international sign for this guy should definitely have backdoor access to all the databases. I wore sunglasses inside once during a taping of Pod Save America in 2017 because I thought I was incredibly hungover, but it turned out I had a rapidly expanding MRSA infection that landed me in a Texas hospital for 4 days. Do you think that's what he has? Yeah. True fans of the show remember that. Does anyone remember that? Betsy, you remember that? Betsy remembers that. All in all, a perfect addition to a perfect week as DOGE and the Trump administration continue to conduct a sloppy wave of mass firings across the federal government, in some cases backtracking after realizing, whoops, we fired the guy who stops the bombs from going boom. So if you're still in line to be fired by a tweaking South African billionaire, stay in line. One of the 1,000 Veterans Affairs workers whom DOGE kicked to the curb, Luke Graziani, a disabled Army veteran with 4 kids who worked at the Bronx VA hospital after serving in the Army for 20 years and deploying on 4 tours to Iraq and Afghanistan. Does Italian count as DEI anymore? Asked a sweaty Elon Musk, who was also trying to figure out why a nuclear warhead was beeping. And as various aircraft keep touching, which they're not supposed to do, hundreds of employees at the FAA have been fired, and while those firings didn't include air traffic controllers, they did include people responsible for maintaining critical air traffic infrastructure. So when your Spirit Air flight loses a wing over the Gulf of America, just remember that in the 3 minutes it will take to plummet to your death, about half of your fellow passengers will be Trump voters who, while having what feels like an eternity to face oblivion, will be smashed by jagged, shattering fuselage, having learned absolutely nothing. Anyway, I'm heading straight to D.C. to register my concerns about all this. If the weather is favorable and the horses stay true, I shall be there in 3 to 6 months. Meanwhile, the Department of Energy fired more than 300 employees from the National Nuclear Security Administration, then scrambled to hire them back after members of Congress pointed out that some of them were tasked with overseeing the country's nuclear weapons. Also about to be accidentally fired, several ICBMs. On Tuesday, the USDA announced that it had mistakenly fired several employees who were working on the federal bird flu response and was trying to hire them back. Unfortunately, it was too late. The employees had already accepted high-paying jobs working for the bird flu lobby. Revolving door. Thousands of employees across the Department of Health and Human Services were notified of their firing over the weekend in what some have called a Valentine's Day massacre, a little disrespectful to the original Valentine's Day massacre, which was the time I got food poisoning during a romantic post-Korean barbecue hot air balloon ride. To be clear, it was my fault. I mixed up the tongs. Jim Jones, not that Jim Jones, The FDA top food official resigned on Tuesday in response to the firing, saying in a letter to the FDA's acting commissioner, "It would have been fruitless for me to continue in this role." Do you think he consciously made a food pun? Or is he just so passionate about food that he did it without thinking? I think it's the second one, probably. Anyway, don't think of it as losing confidence in food safety. Think of it as gaining fun new M&M flavors, like chromium and rat. In an interview later on Tuesday, Jones told Stat News that the firing of 89 staff members responsible for food safety had effectively dismantled the division. But think of all the TikToks you'll be able to watch on the toilet at the supermarket, while you think about how after you wash your hands, you have to handle the key attached to a checkout divider. I want to talk about this. You see, the reason we chose supermarket is it's the kind of place where you really only have to use the bathroom if it's an emergency, because home is almost always the next stop because of the perishables. So if you're in there for a loosey-goosey, a lot went wrong. America's #1 late-night political gay live comedy podcast. Whatever. The White House defended the firings, of course, with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, no relation, saying in a statement, "There are a number of bureaucrats who are resistant to the democratic process. Not as resistant as the E. coli in our spinach is about to be, but resistant nevertheless. President Trump is only interested in the best and most qualified people who are also willing to implement his America First agenda on behalf of the American people. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. No. Pineapple pizza is not for everyone. Pizza topped with hexane and bits of conveyor belt is for no one." Look, it is easier as a society to make heroes of people than it is of systems. We lift up inventors and soldiers and leaders of all kinds. We celebrate bravery and we celebrate brilliance. It's a style of entertaining and conveying our values instinctive in us, not just older than our complicated, interconnected world, but older than writing itself. Every one of us has heard of the Wright brothers. We've all heard of Amelia Earhart because we love stories of women getting what they deserve. But we don't learn about the committees that crafted the laws that created the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board. Flight was never the miracle. Bats and birds and bugs can fly. Flying safely was the miracle. And that was about invention and genius and courage for sure, plus pissing in your pants, which was a big part of it early on. But it was also about meticulous, deliberate, complex systems of inspections, redundancies, tests, training, processes, fail-safes, and investigations that made flying so safe we take it for granted. We haven't been constantly worried about planes falling out of the sky or food that's labeled allergy safe sending kids into anaphylaxis because they're little weaklings. And Democrats are so bad at reaching people who need to be reached and lacking the credibility to persuade anybody once we do that no one takes it seriously when we talk about how bad it could get. We tried explaining why cigarettes cause cancer, but you still thought it was cool. So now you're going to have to smoke a whole carton of cigarettes while also eating room temperature scallops at a seafood buffet with 4 tape marks on the window where the health inspector rating used to be. Nobody makes the right stuff about the fucking guys with this, you know? These guys, really important. That was in it. That's technology, doing this. No movie about them. Nobody's playing Hosts the Planets for them. It's a piece of classical music that was used to great effect in the film The Right Stuff. Do you think I'm niche? Meanwhile, DOGE has been trying to access a highly restricted IRS system that contains sensitive data about every taxpayer, business, and nonprofit in the United States. And, all right, I'm just going to get ahead of this. That bouncy castle was a legitimate business expense, and I stand by that. I needed it for work. An engineer at the General Services Administration has resigned in protest after a Musk ally demanded access to notify.gov, a system used to send mass texts to all Americans. Just a heads up. If Elon Musk starts texting us, I'm going off the grid. If you want to hear this show, you can find me at 7:30 p.m. on Thursdays in the San Gabriel Mountains. Where? Who knows? Good luck. Then on Thursday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth instructed the Pentagon to cut their budget by $50 billion next year, or 8%. What are they cutting? Come on, landmines and planes that can't fly in the rain. Nope, it's anything related to climate change, DEI, and other, quote, woke programs. Senator Tommy Tuberville was enthusiastic about the plan, saying, and this is a direct quote, "I wouldn't be against them taking it from a pentagon to a trigon, cut a couple sides off of it. Ken, I'll take things Osama bin Laden said in August 2001 for 800, please." I wouldn't be against them taking it from a pentagon to a trigon. A trigon. Only word for it. Only word for it is trigon. And I'll say it again. If you are losing to the dumbest motherfuckers on earth, maybe they're not the dumbest motherfuckers on earth. Maybe they're the second dumbest. Trigon? I'm gonna try to kill myself. Fucking trigon, are you kidding me? Love It or Leave It is brought to you by Hydro. I am so excited because I just got a Hydro. It's in my house.
Wow.
It's in my house. And I'm very excited to use it. First of all, it looks great. It's like a really cool looking thing. And I'm like very, very, very excited to give it a shot. This is also a preview of coming attractions. But it looks great. And it's great because like the other day, I was supposed to go to a gym class. Canceled. Because the rain caused a leak in the gym on all the treadmills.
Come on.
Yeah. Hydro is a go-to for a killer full body workout. Seriously, it hits 86% of your muscles, arms, legs, core, you name it. And it only takes 20 minutes. It's the perfect mix of efficiency and results. Whether you're training for a marathon or just trying to stay in shape, Hydro meets you where you're at. It's super low impact, so you don't have to worry about injuries, and it combines strength and cardio for a workout that's both tough and rewarding. Hydro keeps things fresh with a huge library of rowing workouts led by Olympians and world-class athletes, filmed in stunning outdoor locations around the world. It's the perfect way to stay motivated and on track to crush your fitness goals no matter what they are. And the best part, Hydro has free standard shipping, a 30-day risk-free trial, and a 1-year warranty, so you can try it out with zero stress. It's so great to have a rower in your house. It's a great option. And it's like you can go for a run outside, you can go to the gym, or you can use your rower. Everybody should be rowing. Rowing's great for you.
I love rowing.
It's great for you. It's a full body workout. It's great for your back. It's less on the knees. It's a beautiful piece of equipment. I'm sticking to the plan of getting a full body workout all from the comfort of my home with Hydro. Head on over to hydrow.com and use the code LOVEIT to save up to $475 off your Hydro Pro rower. That's HYDROW. You get it like Hydro with a W on the end. .com/loveit and save up to $475. Hydro.com/loveit. Republicans are reportedly alarmed by cuts to agencies even conservatives deem too essential to sacrifice, like the FAA and the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. It's all fun and games until you remember that you have to fly back to your home district through the atmosphere. Said Senator Lisa Murkowski, "We all want efficiencies. There is a way to do it, and the way these people have been treated has been awful in many cases. Awful," referring to the firing of 1,000 National Forest Service workers. Only who can prevent forest fires? Not those guys anymore, that's for sure. Now let's see what the Vice President, Jorts Dealer Vance, had to say about all this.
What is the essence of masculinity? You could answer this in so many different ways, but when I think about me and my guy friends, we really like to tell jokes to one another.
Somebody get these guys into a podcast studio. Now lock the doors from the outside. What is the essence of masculinity, JD? Tell us, what is it, this essence of masculinity, what you and your guy friends get up to? It's the essence. As all masculine men say, they're constantly thinking about the essence of their masculinity, where it is released, where it is best experienced. Hey, straight guys, where do you manifest your masculinity best, you find? Where is its essence? Fucking Despite... Jesus. No, go on. Tell me more about masculinity, you cum guzzling freak. No, I'm just kidding. Does it come from this side or this side? The essence of masculinity. Oh, I think there's a little essence of masculinity in your fucking chin. Unbelievable. Yeah, no. The most masculine men are constantly thinking about it, talking about it, how masculine they are, what makes them tough, big, strong guys. Big, strong, tough guys. He threw the first brick at Stonewall, but doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. But despite criticism from Republicans and declining approval ratings, the Trump White House is forging ahead, announcing an executive order creating the Make America Healthy Again Commission, chaired by Health and Human Services Secretary and human pepper grinder RFK Jr. The order includes a promise to assess the prevalence and threat of drugs like Ozempic and selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs. If you think planes falling out of the sky is bad, wait till you see what happens when you take away SSRIs from Gen Z. Removing Lexapro prescriptions is like step one on the New York Times cooking app recipe for making perfectly al dente Luigis. All right, this is what you want. You want a little vulgar, a little darker. I got it. Where we were too sweet at the beginning. All right, I'll follow. Speaking of needing Health and Human Services, Mitch McConnell announced his retirement on Thursday, which was also his 83rd birthday. He said he plans to spend more time falling down the stairs with his family. Wow. It says here he just took a big job with the graffiti lobby after all their fights. Revolving door. McConnell served 7 terms in the Capitol and one outside while it was being built. I'm telling you, this guy's old. How old is he? McConnell went to the beach from the movie Old that makes you old and said, "I remember when this beach was segregated." McConnell gave his farewell address from the Senate floor, though it had started at the podium. And we do have a clip. It's a turtle falling down for those at home, it was a turtle falling down the stairs. Meanwhile, New York City Mayor Eric Adams defended himself this week against accusations that he offered to help Trump's anti-immigration efforts in exchange for the Justice Department dropping corruption charges against him, saying of the allegation, "That is what you're seeing right there, right now, a modern-day Mein Kampf." What? What are you saying, friend? Who were you in this analogy? In fairness, I do the same thing. Whenever I'm reading a book, I constantly find myself seeing connections to it in the world. Like how just last week I was like, this sandwich is a modern-day Unabomber's manifesto. Speaking of armies marching across Europe, Trump has decided he's headed up to here with Ukraine, here being the new border between Poland and Russia. It all began when Volodymyr Zelensky criticized the United States for meeting with Russia without inviting Ukraine officials to talk about ending the war. Look, we've all been there. You open your Instagram, Russia and the United States are out at drinks together, even though you asked the United States if they wanted to go out earlier, and they were like, I'm tired, long week. And you're like, what the hell? And they're like, it came together at the last minute. And they're like, maybe if you weren't so quick to be a fucking butthurt asshole, we'd invite you more. And then it's like, oh, now I need to stop being upset to be noticed? Better bring my A game or no more poker nights for me? What were we talking about? Trump then escalated his rhetoric, posting on Truth Social, think of it, a modestly successful comedian, Volodymyr Zelensky, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that couldn't be won, that never had to start, but a war that he, without the U.S. and Trump, will never be able to settle. A dictator without elections, Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. First of all, Zelensky isn't a modestly successful comedian. I am a modestly successful comedian. Zelensky was on television. Of course, it's absurd to ask why haven't you had elections while your country is in the middle of fighting an unprovoked invasion and half the population has fled. They haven't had student council elections at Palisades High either. But that doesn't make outgoing senior Claudia Shang a tyrant. Mike Pence criticized Trump for claiming Ukraine started the conflict with Russia, which began when Russia invaded the country in February of 2022. But he then hustled back down to his milk cellar to continue hiding from pardoned insurrectionists. The vast majority of Republicans, including Republicans who once spoke out about the importance of supporting allies in the fight against Putin, stayed silent or offered the barest of criticisms. all these fucking Republicans who have been reading Churchill biographies and World War II histories through every vacation of their entire lives can't see that they are in the midst of their moment in history and are failing completely. But I will remember until I eat a runny yolk and die. And finally, employees at a New Hampshire grocery store discovered a venomous Ecuadorian snake in a shipment of bananas last week. Things went from bad to worse when the snake offered a banana to one of the female employees, and her single bite of it made all the other workers realize that they were naked and imbued with sin from the moment they're born. A New Hampshire Fish and Game official told reporters, "We're lucky enough that one of the workers at Market Basket was familiar with reptiles. And ladies, he's single, which he blames you for."